Africa, you are live on another episode of Ladyz Digest, where issues in the world of women are discussed. And Ladyz Digest is proudly powered by AAU TV, the voice of higher education in Africa. The month of October is known as the World Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and which is also termed the Pink October. And according to the World Health Organization, breast cancer is one of the major health problems globally and in sub-Saharan Africa. And my team and I went to a community to discuss with some of the members there to get their views on their level of awareness of this condition. And after the video, my guest and I will come discuss briefly on what the responses we got. I'm Joan Akua Iyoha, and do stay tuned.
I do know about breast cancer, and that we have to do regular examination for our breast by massaging it to see if there are any pains. Then you go to the hospital for a proper checkup. I'm also aware that October is a month for creating awareness for breast cancer, and hospitals are also doing free screening. I have personally not gone to the hospital to check, but I ran my own checks at home, and looking at the way it's being taught on television, I believe I am free and I am well. I have heard about breast cancer, and what I know is it is a lump that develops in the breast, and you have to lie down flat on your back to be able to examine it. It's been a long time I checked, but I know I do not have any lump. I'm also aware that hospitals do free screening in the month of October. I have children, but I haven't been able to check it for them. I have heard about breast cancer. What I know about breast cancer is that as a lady, you have to check your breast from time to time to find out whether there are lumps in your breast and if there are any pain you feel in the breast. I am married, but my wife has not been able to check her breast at the hospital yet, but we've been able to check at home and there are no signs of breast cancer. We listen to breast teachings on radio, but do not know there is a specific month for creating breast cancer awareness. Personally, I do not know about men having breast cancer. I have heard about breast cancer. What I know is that when you check your breast and find lumps in them, then you have breast cancer. I have been checking when they came around and there is no problem with my breast. I have children, but they are not grown for them to be examined. I do not have any idea about no brazier day.
Welcome back, and this is still Ladyz Digest, and I'm Joan Akua Iyoha, and I have with me two beautiful young ladies, Georgina and Adraomi, and we'll be discussing briefly on the level of awareness of this breast cancer, the issue of breast cancer, and I would allow them introduce themselves properly, and I'll start with my gorgeous lady here. Georgina.
Okay, I'm Georgina, a physician assistant. Yeah.
Okay, welcome.
Thank you.
Adraomi.
Yeah. Aja Omi. I'm a TV show host and producer and also marketing and development officer at the AAU here.
Yeah, you have even been on one of my shows.
Yes,
so
yes.
You are a face, you are a regular face here.
Yes.
Yeah, so we'll just go into the discussion. We went to town to get the views of some people, and we were lucky to interview some women, and we got a man, and it was interesting to know that men also know about this thing. And the man even said that he helps his wife do the test,
The
the
examination,
screening, yeah,
okay.
the DIY screening. And I was pleased. But before we go into the awareness level, I want you to just give us a very brief or very lay definition or meaning of breast cancer for those who may just be hearing it for the first time.
So when we talk about breast cancer, we are talking about normal breast cells that are now abnormal,
Okay.
which in turn invade other parts of the bodies.
Okay.
Yes, that's what breast cancer is all
Okay.
about.
All right. Okay. So let's move to the awareness level. So statistics carried out or statistics from research carried out from the Ministry of Health and I think the Ministry of Women and Children Affairs states that about 70% of women suffering from breast cancer are at the advanced stage. So I'm wondering with myself, if it got to the advanced stage, that means they didn't see it early. Fine, there are some cases that maybe it was they detected it early and were treating, but it still got to the advanced stage. But let's say that they didn't detect it early, and we went to town. Though we did, it was quite a small number of people we interviewed, but what we got was that they are aware of the condition breast cancer. So where is this thing coming from?
link.
That yeah, the link between the advanced stage being so high, 70%, and they being aware of it. Why is there that issue still?
Okay, so with every normal medical condition aside breast cancer, we as Ghanaians or let's say Africans, say when a person or an individual is sick, instead of a person going straight to the doctor,
Yeah.
the person would rather go to a relative who has experienced a
Similar.
symptom like that,
Yeah.
or probably go to the internet and search about the symptom and go to the pharmacy and get a medication, probably go to a herbal doctor or going for herbal medications of which you don't even know the origin or the component of that drug.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, before the person gets to the hospital, the symptom or the condition has progressed to a very bad state. That's like one thing with breast cancer too.
Yeah.
You wait till probably you can feel pain in the breast, because when it starts initially, it's very painless.
Wow.
So
I
you
see.
probably have the lump in your breast and you wouldn't feel any pain. So
Pain.
you just think probably it's a normal lump which will
Yeah.
eventually go away. But with time, for a long period of time, when you've done your herbal medications, gone to your pharmacy for pain reliefs, and it's still not
Not
going,
going.
after a year or 2 or 3, you then begin to feel the pain. You take it to the hospital and you be informed it's a breast cancer and you're at an advanced stage.
Stage.
Or probably you've even been to the hospital and you've been told it's breast cancer. Instead of it to start with the treatments, some people prefer to either go for herbal medication
Wow.
with the aim that it will with the aim that it will treat the breast cancer.
Oh.
But all these things will fail you, and eventually you come back and you'll be asked to have a mastectomy,
Wow.
which is the removal of the breast. And as Ghanaians and Africans, we value our breasts
A lot.
a
Yeah.
lot. So when you are told that, some people prefer, oh, I'd rather die than lose a
Wow.
breast. So that's
I
one
see.
thing with it, with a high death rates with the breast cancer and a high cases of advanced stages.
Wow, I see. Well, as you said, we Ghanaians, we value, I think, the breast and the buttocks. Those are
Very
the major
much.
things. So that makes an African woman. So for you to now tell me to remove it there, no, let me leave it and, well,
I'd rather die than
it's
to have
true.
it removed.
It's true. So, Adraomi, would you want
Yes,
to add to
I'll
that?
quickly add on to what she said, and
Yeah.
I'll basically talk of based on the video that we watched,
Yes.
the people that you interviewed in the town. Obviously, it's not really a rural area, but let's say it's a rural
Yeah,
area.
sub-rural.
So I'll basically talk about
They're
some of the
different.
factors that contributes to the late detection of
Okay.
breast cancer. So this person is in the rural area. Obviously, there will be some challenges to accessibility of health facilities.
Yeah.
The availability of health facilities in those areas will definitely be low, which in turn will not make the people get really good access to good health care.
Yeah.
So even if the person has access to good health care, there's also another factor, which is money, finances. they're in the village. Obviously, their standards of living is very, very low. You can't compare that to people that are in the cities. And even people in the cities, a lot of people don't really go for regular checkups. But comparing the rates to those in the rural areas, you could tell that those in the rural areas mostly do not even go for checkups at all, because they may not even have the health facility. So if there is a health facility, what is preventing the people to go to the health facility? That is when my second point comes in, which is the finances. And also, mostly when we are looking, if we are to look at the kind of advertisements we do or we have on our TV stations, our radio stations about breast cancer, we mostly show pictures, or we give pictures of how it is when it is at the final stage. We don't really give a clear picture of how it begins. So if you don't tell me how it begins, I would wait until I see the picture of what you presented to me in the TV or on radio before I can conclude that, yes, I have breast cancer. So I think a lot of things need to be factored into to make the awareness reachable to everybody, wherever the person may be at whatever time.
So I think we need to still work on the sensitization.
Yes, we need to work on the sensitization.
Most of them, when we ask them, what do you know about breast cancer, they are like, it's a woman's secret that they said something starts coming
from your breast.
That's so wrong.
I personally didn't even know men can also get breast cancer until I got older. So I think with the education, the percentage is low, obviously. But I think they are improving on the kind of education that they do. But there's still more work to be done.
Sure. And still talking on the sensitization thing, while reading, I saw that research has it that the percentage now is quite high on the youth below 35. When I saw that, and there were some recommendations that they should start reaching out to students while still in school, secondary school students, to go out to the secondary schools, go for the screening, and we shouldn't leave them out as well. They are too young and all that.
Even right down to JHS, they can start with this girl guide groups. So I think this month of October, they are having their Pink Day or something like that. So during that period, they can educate them on what breast cancer is. So right from JHS, the individuals already aware that there's a condition called breast cancer. And so far as I'm a woman, I'm at risk. So like you have that in mind,
that
and
consciousness.
And if they are screened before they go to the secondary schools, and if occasionally they get doctors to come around to examine these ladies or young girls, by the time they get to their universities or they are older, they have like much knowledge concerning what it is and how it presents.
And mostly what we think about is people in the universities, like the tertiary institutions, are knowledgeable people, and so they know about breast cancer. But there's a lot of education that needs to be done. Personally, I know breast cancer is a cancer, it's a type of cancer, but I don't really have in-depth knowledge on it.
There was this, I think some days into this month, there was this no bra day. It was trending, I think, on Twitter.
It was. Even WhatsApp, Facebook, everywhere.
So to me, the main purpose of that thing or that trend is to kind of a form of solidarity with breast cancer, people suffering with breast cancer or suffering from breast cancer. I want to think that to an extent that idea was missed, and it was becoming just like a social media trend. What would you want to say about that?
Okay, so what I would say about it is that this No Bra Day is just to sensitize the general public about breast cancer, the screening, and the early detection. Breast cancer, when it's detected early, is curable. Yes. So the best thing is to self-examine yourself, visit the nearest facility when you realize there's a lump in your breast, or you can feel a difference in your breast. So that will help with the management.
So
basically what No Bra Day is to show solidarity, like you said, to show solidarity to the people that have undergone surgeries due to breast cancer. Some people have lost both of their breasts. Some people have lost one. So it's a day where they are supposed to come out to show to the world, to share the experience and also show to the world how they really look. Because if you have breast cancer, you still need to wear bras and all of that. But on that day, you are not supposed to wear bra. You just show your bare chest to us to make the people know that this is what breast cancer can do to you. But right now, due to social media, we all want to be a part of something, and I don't know whether it's...
We are missing it.
Yes, we are definitely missing the point. You see people posting pictures of wearing clothes without their bras and all of that, but
sensitive things,
the main thing is being left out, and something else is being put in the line.
Interesting.
Yeah, so move to the screening. I know there are two types of screening: the clinical one and the self-screening, self-examination. For the clinical one, it's quite detailed, so you may not be able to describe it here. We may just show with pictures. But I want you to help us with the self-examination. They are the ideal way. And I know it's like, I don't know, let me be clear on that. I think I heard there are some days, I think after your menses, that it should be done. And you let us know on that. Then also the process, how it's done, the ideal way. Because I know some, they would rather be holding, fondling it and all, for our men to see, so that they can also help their wives too.
All right, sure. So when you are doing a self-breast examination, the first, usually we do it after a week of your menses. By then, if your breast was swollen or much bigger or heavier, it would have resolved in a week after your menstrual period. That would be quite helpful. So with that, you can just take a warm shower or a cold shower. Just take a shower. As you're taking your shower, just be looking at your breast. Examine the size. So one of your breasts is naturally bigger than another. So you have to
It's yours bigger. It's one bigger. You don't know.
You don't even know. That is it.
Okay,
we don't even know which of our breast is bigger. So you have to know one breast is naturally bigger than the other, but not so obviously bigger. Okay, so when you have that in mind, you know that probably my left breast is bigger than my right breast, or my right breast is bigger than
my left.
So when you realize that, it's rather the opposite. So if probably your left breast is bigger than your right breast, then I can realize the right is much bigger than the left breast. You should be worried and see your physician. So with that, you also look at whether there are discharges coming from your breast while standing, or whether there are any nipple retraction. So some people are naturally born with nipple retraction.
What's that?
And when your nipples are a bit inverted. So some people naturally do not have their nipples standing out. But when you formerly had your nipple out, and now you can see that this nipple is going inside. So that's an indication. And when you realize that one breast is much bigger than the other, that's also an indication. And we have something we call pod orange. That's orange peel. So you realize that there's this spots-like or dimplings on your breast. So that's also an indication of breast cancer. So after you physically observed your breast as a woman or as a man, the next thing is to touch and feel.
So I have a question here. How do the men get to know that they have breast cancer, since they basically have no breast? It's just the chest. So how would they?
So if you're a man and you have a family history of breast cancer, so probably your mother, your female siblings, your aunties, they have breast cancer, you should have it in mind that provided you're a human being, there's a hormone in our bodies called estrogen. And we women have it in a high level, whilst the men have it in a low level. But when you have breast cancer, usually it's on a very high level. So with your family history of the breast cancer, you should be quite observant about your breasts.
So their sizes will equally increase, or will there still be discharges for the men?
Yes, a bit in size.
Yes. Okay.
There'll be a slight increase in your normal breast size.
To the normal one. All right. So you were talking about the screening.
Okay, so you stand in the mirror, hold your waist and observe. Okay, so both breasts are equal. Then you raise your hand and see, oh, both breasts are similarly equal. The next thing you do is that you touch, you gently press if you feel any pain.
Okay.
So you don't feel any pain. Okay, the next thing is to palpate in a
It's called
circular motion. So you raise one hand up behind your head this way. Okay. Then you begin to palpate in a circular, you press a bit firmly in a circular manner. All the way up here because the breast extends to this side, the
Yeah,
tail. Yeah, so you feel for any lymph nodes or any swellings. So when you feel in your hand that there is any swelling, which is painless or which is painful.
Yeah.
The other one is painful. You might go to your facility and you'll be told to have a test which will come out as probably a fibroadenoma, which is not a cancerous tumor, but a benign one. Yes.
Yeah, I've heard of
So with that, we just give you some medications to relieve you of the pain. But when you feel a lump and it's somewhat painless, it should be, yes, it's quite dangerous. After that, you just squeeze your nipple, yes, for any discharge. So if you're a lactating mother or a breastfeeding mother, it's obvious you have
The
milk coming out. So that's not something to be scared about. But if you are not a lactating mother and you realize you are having milky discharge or bloody discharge, that should be a query.
Wow.
Yes. So you should be doing this frequently. So after this month, you've noticed that, oh, my breasts are fine. The following month, after your menses, a week after your menses, you have to redo it. With that, like, you are always abreast of the fact that everything is normal with my breast. Yes.
So if as a lady you get to do that like 12 times in a year,
that's very good.
That's very fine.
So with that, you'll be able to detect the breast cancer very early
before it gets to a very bad
stage.
Wow. Thank you for that description. Yeah, and I know my viewers, they would try it when they get home or if they are home. And our men too will do it. You can also help your wife.
Yeah, you can help your wife.
Or somebody.
Or someone. Yeah. Your sister.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, you can help.
It's not just about holding the breast and
fondling.
No. That's not breast examination. Be gentle with it and have a feel of it to be able to detect any lump.
Yeah, thank you for that. So, Adra, we know in the month of October, some hospitals have seen they run this free screening, just as a way of their own quota. What can we in the higher education space do to contribute our own quota to this awareness journey in general?
Okay, so I work here at the AAU, and our main focus or our main people that we target is the higher education population. So I believe this is the month of October and is a breast cancer awareness month. So AAU can partner with hospitals or even universities, some of the higher education institutions, to educate people, to educate our higher education population about breast cancer, telling them about the early detection and what it does, the late detection and what it does, some of the symptoms, and all that we need to know about breast cancer. Even in the higher education, we have SRC week celebrations and all of that. The SRC executives can think of ways to bring their hospitals or our health facilities to the universities to educate the student body about breast cancer. So I think those are some of the ways that they can do to boost the sensitization and education.
And even during our whole week celebrations, we can use that instead of having this fun. Because like sometimes our health is equally important.
It's more important.
And that is the time that we get most of the students on campus. So why
and even when the level 100s come during their medical screenings, we can also add that even if it's to build them for the mammograph, I think that's necessary so that we can detect it very early.
I think that it should be added to the medical clearance and that is done instead of waiting. And also we can also try as university students and medical students, to me they can also go to the villages and like rural communities and help in sensitizing them, because we are here in the urban area enjoying to an extent some level of awareness and sensitization, but our mothers and our sisters down there really don't know what's happening.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
we need to find a way of getting to them,
Yeah.
at least for us to also be, for us all to be on a very level page. Yeah. Thank you. Would you have your last words for them before we
So my
round
last
up?
words for our viewers is that breast cancer is curable.
Sure.
So when you have a feel of lump in your breast, please do well to go to a nearby facility, a health facility, and get yourself properly screened and examined. Breast cancer is curable. You don't have to wait till in your final stage where you would have to go through a mastectomy for the removal of your breast. Have to just visit early, let us detect it early and help you with the treatment.
Oh, thank you. They are there to help you. Our
Yes.
medical people are there to
Yes.
help you with the treatment. And Nadraomi, your last words.
So my last words will be, I'll just basically build on what
What
my
she
sister
said.
said. Early detection saves life. You need to be able to detect it early so that you don't have to go through the stress of having a mastectomy or anything. And I also think that I am in the higher education space, and I would suggest that when we are doing research, we should also do more research on breast cancer, especially public health issues, because mostly right now almost everyone is thinking about science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. We don't put more focus on public health and
Yeah.
all of these things like the cancerous diseases that we have. So researchers should focus more on coming up, doing more research on breast cancer and letting the people know what breast cancer really is.
Wow, wow. Thank you for your very important and contributions. Yeah,
Thank
really
you.
appreciate it. And thank you again for making this production a successful one. I really appreciate you. And for me, my last words will just be that early detection is key. Cancer doesn't always win. And woman, know thy breast. You need to know your
Yeah,
breast. Know
sure.
your body. Well, as she said, you need to just look at the mirror. If you really know your body, when there is a change, you will know. So know thy breast. And this has been Ladyz Digest. I've been your host, Joan Akua Iyoha. And many thanks to my production team for making this a success. Bye.